Hey guys, and welcome back to a second part of the tutorial video for the Crawlomatic plugin. This is the advanced part of the plugin where I show you how to use the plugin in advanced scenarios and also explain each and every settings field from it, how it can be used and what is its purpose. Okay, if you haven't seen already the first part of this tutorial, please check the description of this video. I will be added there. So the first part, which shows its basic usage and configuration, will be added in this video's description. Okay, so let's continue from where we left off in the last video. I have here the Word configured with basic importing settings. Right now it is importing serial content, so it crawls links from the Word website and it scrapes content from them. Okay, so let's change the website that we use for this video. I will be scraping my own website. So yeah, this is a bold move from me, but my website has some great examples that will be able to exemplify how to use the plugin. Okay, so it has some great example posts. Okay, so I changed the scraper start seed URL, and even better, let's delete the old rule that we created so we can start from a new. So sorry, it seems that I got here, I have to refresh the plugin here. And now I have it refreshed. Now we can delete the rule. Okay, now let's input my website URL with this article in the scraper start seed URL. I will be using only a single article scraping right now, just for you to check how the plugin will get content from the article if I don't use the content query type and content query string settings field. So I simply add the URL of the post that I wish to scrape, and let's check also the front page of our site. It's empty. Now let's run importing, and the plugin now will get the content from the site. Okay, and here it is. It is imported. However, you will see that there are no images, and this is the first reason why I wanted to scrape my own website, because my website uses lazy loading for images, and if you scrape these images, they will not be rendered correctly unless you add some extra configuration to the plugin. So in this case, we can inspect on these blank spots where images should be visible on the scraped content, and we need to find the lazy loading tag for these images. So the lazy loading tag is usually data src or something similar, and you should see data src equals and the path of the image. So if you copy the URL from here and add it here, you will see the image loaded. So all you need to do after you find this path is copy the tag that you found. So copy on the data src, go to plugin settings and search for lazy loading image HTML tag. This is the settings field where you need to enter the data src field. So this means that the URL of the image is lazy loaded, and instead of the normal src HTML tag, the source site uses the data src HTML tag to hold the URL of the image. So we need to enter data src into lazy loading image HTML tag, save settings, delete the old post that was imported and re-import it. Okay, now we can refresh the imported post, and this time images will be rendered and imported correctly from the source post from here. Okay, so this is the first scenario that I wanted to show you, And now let us go in, and I want to also show you one more thing on how to extract content from websites using the content query type, which is now set to auto detect. Auto detect means that the plugin will try to do its best to automatically detect the content of the website which is readable. So this means usually that the plugin searches and tries to detect the content of the post or the article that you wish to scrape. However, this is not 100% bulletproof. Because of this, I recommend that you try selecting the content that you wish to import using the visual selector tool, as I showed already in the previous video. Or if also the visual selector fails, because it can also fail for some HTML structures, in this case you have to inspect element and search for a div that encloses all the content that you wish to scrape. So after you inspect here, then you should hover your mouse over the lines here in the code and search for the line that encloses all the content that you wish to scrape. So in my case, it is this section, and you will see that the section ends right when the article is ending, so I will need to import this section. So now I will be searching for classes or IDs that I can use to tell the plugin that I need the content that this HTML tag encloses. So for this, for example, let's copy the content of this ID tag. So let's copy it, and instead of visual selector, let's select ID and paste the ID that we copied from here. You can also copy the class, but if you have an ID, it is better to use IDs instead of classes. But if you don't have an ID for this enclosure, then you can also use classes, in which case you can select here class. If you know XPath or regex, then you can also parse the content using XPath or regex, but now let's leave this at its default value ID to get the content from here. And if we re-import content now, we will be using the ID query to get all the content that is highlighted from here. So the end result will look similar, because in this case the auto detection feature actually made all possible things to auto detect the content. Okay. Now let me go ahead and explain each and every settings field that the plugin has and how to use it. So scraper start seed URL. This is the URL where the plugin will start crawling and scraping. If you check the previous video, tutorial video for the Crawlomatic plugin, the basic one, there I explained what's the difference between crawling and scraping. Okay, so this is the start URL. If you uncheck the do not scrape start URL checkbox from here, this URL will be also scraped and a post will be generated using the content from it. And if you check the do not scrape seed URL checkbox, then this URL will be skipped, so it will not be scraped for content, it will only be crawled for links. So if you want to enter here a URL where many posts are listed, so many posts are listed on the main site, for example, so you can enter here the main site and be sure to check the do not scrape seed URL checkbox, and the plugin will only search for links on this page and not get actual textual content from it to create a post from it. Okay. The schedule parameter tells the plugin how often should importing rule run in the plugin from this site. So in this case, it runs every 24 hours. Maximum 1 posts are imported. You can set this limit as you wish. Post status should be pending, draft, publish, private or trash. Item type, post, page or any custom post type that you wish. Author, random author, import, crawled author or authors that you have on your site. And checkbox is if the rule should be active. So if the schedule should run automatically. If this is unchecked, only manual running will be applicable for this rule. And now let's click settings and see each and every settings field from here what will do for us. Okay, you can change the title of the generated post using shortcodes, or also you can write text here. So let's say breaking news, and the title will be shown afterwards, and each post that this rule generates will begin with breaking news in its title. The same can be done for the content, and the shortcodes that you will be able to use are this and also this. Okay, so here are all the shortcodes that you will be able to use. If you wish to embed YouTube or Vimeo videos, you can use embed, item URL, and embed WordPress shortcode. Okay, you will also be able to use Custom Shortcode Creator. I will be getting here back soon. Okay, generated post format is the format of the post that you create. Category of the post, you can hold down the Control key and select multiple categories by clicking on multiple categories while you have the Control key pressed. Categories, to remove a comma separated list of categories that you wish to remove from final categories. This is useful when you also check the auto add post categories from query string checkbox, in which case the plugin will automatically detect categories and automatically create categories for you. And using this, you will be able to remove some of these automatically created categories that you don't want to have. Auto created categories parent ID. If you want to assign automatically created categories to a parent ID, you can do it here. Remove WordPress default post category. This will remove the uncategorized category from the generated posts. If you want to keep this, you can uncheck this checkbox. Add post tags from query string below. If you want to enable tags importing, you can check this checkbox. Don't forget to also check below for tag query type, tag query string. This is also needed to be added. Also for categories, category query string and category query type, this needs to be set, and you will need to tell the plugin from where exactly from the page should it extract categories and tags. This is needed for the auto add tags and add created categories query string settings to work. So this one and this one need also, besides this to be checked, also you need to enter the query strings for tags and categories. Okay, now you can set additional post tags, a comma separated list of tags that you wish to set for posts. Enable comments, pingback, trackbacks, auto featured image. This is a checkbox that will enable featured image creation. If the plugin is not detecting automatically the featured image, you can set manual featured image location from source pages using this settings field, but in this I will be getting back soon on this a bit later. Replace article image with royalty-free image. This plugin can also replace featured images for posts with royalty-free featured images. The royalty-free featured images will be searched by keywords that will be extracted from the post titles. So they will be related to the content that you import. Replace word list. You can replace content from the imported post for example, if you want to replace anything English, England, you want to replace it with Germany, for example, you can do it like this and write here England and Germany. You can separate terms that you wish to separate by this symbol. If you want to write multiple ones, separate them by comma. Content scraping method to use. This is a very nice feature, and it is also a newer feature that I added recently to the plugin. So you can select how the plugin will download the posts, the content that it scrapes. So you can download the content using a WordPress built-in method. You can install PhantomJS on your server and let the plugin use PhantomJS to get the content for you. You can install Puppeteer on your server and allow the plugin to use Puppeteer headless browser to get the content. You can install Tor browser on your server and use Tor to scrape the content, or you can use headless browser API, Puppeteer, Tor, or PhantomJS nodes to scrape the content. In this case, you will not need to install anything on your server besides the plugin. You will only need to add the headless browser API key here in the plugin settings. So if you need one, just click here and you can sign up for a subscription, and this is all that you will need to use the headless browser API, Puppeteer, Tor, and PhantomJS nodes. So the good thing about using this is that besides of WordPress, which is default, all these 6 other options are able to execute JavaScript and to render dynamic content on the scrape pages. So many scrape pages nowadays are using JavaScript to render their content, and this content which is rendered by JavaScript is not visible to normal WordPress scrapers like the default one. And if you use the default one, some content might not be visible for the pages you scrape. For example, Twitter embeds and other things like images which are lazy loaded, but not with the lazy loading tag that I showed you, but with some advanced JavaScript lazy loading which is not visible in the content, only after you load the page. And many other options are here where this actually helps. So these 3 need to be installed on your server to be used, and these 3 need a subscription and no installation of on your server. So to make it to work. Okay. So headless browser wait before rendering pages. How many milliseconds the headless browser should be instructed to wait before rendering pages? So this is useful because if you wait a bit after the page loads, then you can wait for JavaScript rendered content to load. So a maximum value for this is around 8,000. So you can instruct the plugin to wait 8,000 milliseconds or 8 seconds for fully rendered pages to be returned. But the 8,000 value is a maximum, and you should not use 8,000 because it will delay scraping a lot. So if the content is imported for you even without this delay, you should use 0 and use this only when it is needed. Attach screenshot to all generated posts. If you have installed PhantomJS or Puppeteer on your site, you can use this feature to attach screenshots of the site to generated posts. Delay between multiple requests. If you want to delay the request that you create to simulate real human behavior instead of just serial scraping. So if you leave this at 0, the plugin will make requests to the web page very fast, and in this case the source server might detect that you are scraping their content and might block you. So in this case you can add a delay between requests, and you can set a delay in milliseconds between these requests. You can also add a a comma separated list of delays. So in this case, a random timeout will be selected between the two values you specify. So for example, like this. And in this case, the plugin will select a random timeout in milliseconds between these two values. You can also send cookies with requests. So the cookie syntax is this. So cookie key 1 equals cookie value 1, semicolon, cookie key 2 equals cookie value 2. HTTP user and password. This is the syntax user pass. Set custom user agent. You can set also a user agent to be used when accessing the site. Post request fields. You can set also a post request that will be sent to the source page. The format is this. Post field equals post field content, and post field 2 equals post field content 2. Reverse crawling order. So in this case, if you check this checkbox, then the plugin will reverse the order of content that it posts. So let's say the website you crawl for links contains links like this from top to bottom, and if you check this checkbox, the plugin will scrape content from bottom to top. Maximum link crawling depth. This is a useful feature if you are scraping content on multiple levels. So let's say you start from a website here and go to a post here, and if you also scrape links and crawl links from this post, then you can go to multiple posts from this post. And if you increase this value, then you can, or if you set this value, you can tell the plugin how deep should it enter at maximum on scraped content and on crawled content. So I think that I need to draw this to you guys to make this understandable, even more easier to understand. Okay, so let me draw this for you. So if you have here a maximum link crawling depth set to 2, for example, in this case, this is the source website. It has these links here, and if you set this to 2, then the plugin will stop at this depth. So this is depth 1 and this is depth 2. This will tell the plugin to stop at depth 2, and it will not continue to scrape to crawl links also on this site. However, if you set this to 3, then the plugin will continue and will also search for links on this site, and it will get these resulting links and also search for links on this site, and will get these links and also search for this site, and it will get these links, and this is depth 3. Okay, so if you set this to maximum link crawling depth to 3, then the plugin will search also the depth 2 links and get all these links to be scraped. Okay, maximum crawled results to get. So this is a number telling the plugin, so okay, Crawlomatic, get me a maximum of 100 posts on your scraping and then stop. So this will tell the plugin to get 100 links by crawling the content. So these 100 links are not assured that they will be actually posted, because you can set some restrictions. You have some required words, some banned words, or anything else that you can think of to restrict importing of these crawled links. This will tell the plugin, so if you crawl a maximum of 100 links from the site, stop and don't get any more. Okay, also get found CSS file content. If you check this checkbox, the plugin will try to import also the CSS content from the scraped websites. Use proxy from main settings plugin menu. If you check this checkbox, the plugin will use the proxy that you defined in the main settings here. So web proxy address list and web proxy authentication. And here you will be able to use proxies. And if you check the use proxy from main settings plugin menu, then the plugin will use the proxies defined from here. If not, then it will not use proxies. You can set the encoding of the article. You can leave this feature disabled if you don't know what this does. If you know, you can set this to a value. So this should be set to the source article encoding. Update post if it is already posted. If the post you are importing is already published on your site, then if you check this checkbox, the plugin will update the post. If you uncheck it, the plugin will not do anything if the post is already published. Copy images from content locally. If you want to go ahead and copy images from content locally, you can check this checkbox. So let me show you how this will work. So for example, I have here the post that we created, and if we go on the main site and check the post here, and let me inspect this image, we will see that it is from coderevolution.ro. However, if I check the copy images locally, save settings, and delete the post, and re-import it with the copy images checkbox checked, then we will be able to get images copied locally to our website where this runs, this scraping runs. So in this case, scraping will run a bit longer because this images copying takes a bit of time. Okay, now if we go and check the post that we scraped, so we can see that breaking news is added to the beginning, and if we inspect here, it will be WP Initiate, which is the site where I am scraping content right now, and the image is copied currently here on my page. Okay, now let's continue. Skip checking OG image meta. So this will instruct the plugin, okay, Crawlomatic, when you search for featured images for scraped content, don't check the OG image meta for the image. Skip checking post content. This will tell the plugin that don't check the post content for images. And default featured image list. This will set a list of featured images that you will be able to set for posts for which no featured image will be detected. You can use a comma separated list of featured images. Also, you can use numeric IDs of media that already is copied to your WordPress library. So if you have in some media in your WordPress library, you can get its numeric ID, for example 176, and use it here. And you can use multiple numeric IDs here. If this is a better option for you, because in this case the images will not be copied over and over to the media library, but the same image will be used by its numeric ID. Okay, so here you can set posting restrictions, banned word list, required word list, run regex on content, replace matches by regex, skip posts if above regex not matched, run regex on title, replace matches from regex from title. Okay, so you can set banned word list and required word list. This will skip the posts that are scraped if they don't match these restrictions. Also, you can run regex. If you know regex, then this is a great tool for you, because you can replace anything from the content with almost anything that you are thinking of. Also, this will be able to strip content that you are not willing to have in the post by leaving the replace matches from regex field empty. This will be applied to content and this will be applied to title. You can also skip the post if this regex is not found or not matched. Strip HTML from full content. If you want to import only text, check this checkbox. Allow HTML tags. If you check this checkbox, then you can set here some HTML tags that will be allowed. So for example, you can set A for links and BR for new lines and so on, but a bit of HTML knowledge is required here. Strip images from post content. This is self-explanatory. Strip links. Strip HTML by ID, class, XPath, tag name. So you can strip all links by adding an A here. Strip all divs by adding a div and so on. Limit article paragraph count. If you want to limit the content that you import, you can limit its paragraph count. Percentage of the content to keep, you can keep only 30% of the article, for example. Limit content word count. Look, you can limit the content word count that you import. Automatically translate content to any language using Google Translate here. You can also use DeepL translator if you add a DeepL translator authentication key here in the plugin's main settings. In this case, the DeepL translator will appear also in the translate settings field. So I got lost here. Where was I? Here was, so okay, so translate content. Also DeepL language options will appear here after you add a DeepL translator key here. If you want to use the Google Translator API, which is the official version of it, you can add an API key here. If you don't add an API key here, a free version of the Google Translate will be used, which will also work for you. Keep original link source after translation. If you check this checkbox, the links from the translation will not link to Google Translate but will link to the original links. Read more button text. You can set a read more text. If you have a read more button added to the post. Automatically delete posts after a period of time. If you want to delete posts after 1 day, you can set it plus 1 day, or if you want to delete this after 1 year, plus 1 year. Post custom fields and custom taxonomies. You can set also custom fields and custom taxonomies to post. The format is like this. So custom field name equals greater sign to form an arrow, and custom field value. So field name equals greater to form an arrow here, and value. And in the custom field value you can also use shortcodes, and the shortcodes are listed here. To enter multiple values, multiple similar custom field names and values, separate them by comma. And in the taxonomies, the syntax is same. Instead of comma, you should use semicolon. So this is the only difference here, that in the taxonomies, to separate multiple custom taxonomies, don't use commas but use semicolons. Do not scrape seed URL. I already explained what this is. Seed page crawling query type. This will instruct the plugin how should it get links from the source posts. So if source URL, so if we are linking to my blog, for example, and save settings here, I can instruct the plugin to scrape content from all the links that I added on the blog page here. So to do this, I check the do not scrape seed page, do not scrape seed URL, to not scrape content from this site, only to crawl links from it. And afterwards I use the seed page crawling query type to select a post. So I use a visual selector tool, and all I have to do is highlight a link I have here. So in this case, the plugin autofilled the XPath expression that I need to highlight that post. I can also do this manually if I go to the blog. Just a second to allow me to go to my blog and inspect element and search for the A, the link. This is the A element, this is the HTML link element that will go to my post URL, and this needs to be matched. So this is the class that matches this link, so I can go back, and the same will be if I enter this class here. Seed page pagination query type. So if I want to use pagination on my seed page, then I can also do this. So let me go back to my blog, and if I have here a numeric pagination like here below, then I can tell the plugin that, hey, go ahead and paginate results when you got the maximum number of posts already imported from page 1. Go ahead and go to page 2 from here. Okay, so I see that the class inactive is on all these links. So in this case, I can enter a class inactive, and the plugin will go ahead and paginate the results when it already scraped all the links from the page that I linked here. In this case, it will search for the next page and also get content from the next page. It will crawl links from it. Remember last page URL. If you check this checkbox, the plugin will remember the last page where it crawled and scraped content from. This is useful if you don't want the plugin to search for each and every page over and over again when it continues scraping, but it will skip the first pages and continue scraping from the 10th page, for example, if it was scraping the links from the 10th page. This is a useful feature to decrease the number of requests that the plugin makes to the scrape sites. Crawled page crawling query type. So this is the query type of pages that are crawled. So this means that the plugin should select the query type you want to crawl already crawled pages. So this means that if you want to get links from pages that are crawled, for example, if you want to get links from this blog post, you can tell the plugin, hey, Crawlomatic, I also want to get some links from the post that you crawled, but from here, from down here, for example, so that are related to the content of the post. So this is how it works, and if you use here a visual selector, then example post will be opened for you, and you can go down here and search for these links and click on one, for example, and the plugin will understand that, okay, if I scrape content from a post, I can also crawl that post for links and get even more links to my crawling process. But remember, this will be already on level 3 for the maximum link crawling depth. So if you want to crawl in more depth these links, then you should increase this depth value. Okay, crawl only links with this class, crawl only links with ID. So you can set classes or IDs for links that you should crawl, and the plugin will be instructed that it should crawl only these links with these classes or IDs. URL pattern to not crawl and import, you can set URL patterns that will be skipped. So you can write here anything. So you can write here test s helps.html. So in this case, the plugin will not scrape links that will end like this, or will start with anything you wish. So you can set patterns to not crawl and import. Post title patterns to not crawl and import. So you can set also post title patterns that will not be scraped, that will be skipped. Do not crawl external links. So this is a useful feature if you have websites that contain also external links which you don't want to scrape. So for example, here in my website, I also have here some links that go out of my website. These are affiliate links and are external links. So I can tell the plugin that, hey, Crawlomatic, I don't want to crawl these links also. I only want to keep in-house on the site I am crawling. Skip scraping posts if below content query is not found. So if you check this checkbox, then if you set here a content query and that content query is not detected on the posts that the plugin scrapes, these posts will be skipped. If you uncheck this checkbox, if the content query that you set here is not found, the plugin will use auto detection of content and it will try its best to auto detect the content for you. Okay, so content query type, content query string, I already talked about this. Lazy loading image tag, I already showed you how to use this. Post pagination link query type. This will allow you to input a query type of HTML elements where the post pagination links will be found. So the plugin can also scrape paginated posts. So I'm sure that you saw that some posts are paginated, meaning so that they are too long to fit on a single page, and its original author wrote that, hey, this is the page 1 of the post, click down there to go to the page 2 and see the second part of the post. And in this case, the Crawlomatic plugin can also scrape this content and concatenate it and put it together in a single post on your site. And this will tell the plugin from where exactly should it extract the pagination link, and if you match this correctly, the plugin will go to the next page of the paginated post and will get also the second, the third, and how many parts it has. Maximum post pagination depth. So this will tell the plugin how many times should it go at maximum to get this paginated content for a single post. So if you set this to 3, for example, it will try to get at maximum 3 parts of the same post if it finds the query that you set here. Title query type. The plugin can be instructed to auto detect the title, to use a visual selector, or to use these types of selectors. Author query type, you can select a visual selector, meta author, meta value, ID class, and other similar values. Featured image query type, you can set visual selector, auto detect OG image, or these other similar values. Date query type, you can use current date, visual selector, or the content scraping selectors. Add hours to the imported date. This is a nice feature to have. So for example, you can change the time zone that it uses. So for example, I can write here 6 and the plugin will add 6 hours to the date that it scraped. And like this you will be able to change the time zone or to change the date. Category query type, you can use visual selector and so on. Tag query type, similar. text separator. This can be set to tell the plugin which is the separator that the source site uses for the categories or tags. So you will see also a category separator here. So on many sites you will see category 1, comma, category 2, comma, category 3. And the plugin will know that the comma is the category separator on the source site and will post multiple categories on your site based on the category separator that you set here. Custom Shortcode Creator. This is a very nice feature and it has a similar structure as the custom post meta and custom post taxonomies. So the shortcode name, this little arrow, class ID xpath regex, 2 at symbols, and the class ID xpath regex expression. So for details about how to use this, you can check here. So the basic idea is that you can create your own custom shortcodes that will be able to use in the generated post content settings field from here. So if you want to scrape content that if you want to scrape multiple content from the source, for example, you want to scrape something from the top part of the site and something from the bottom part, then you can do it using this feature. You can set a shortcode name, for example, top part, add this little arrow here, equals and greater, and add a class ID xpath or regex selection type, and to write 2 ats, and write the class ID xpath or regex expression that will match the content. So for example, in the here, for example, I have this image or this text, even better. So this text can be scraped with a custom shortcode. If I copy this class, so the shortcode name will be profile. I have here class, 2 at symbols, and the class that I copied from my class here. So you will see class easy profile widget inner, which is this profile widget from here, and all I have to do now is use name of the shortcode in 4% marks here in the generated post content. So in the generated post content, let's write also name of the shortcode, which I give it the name profile. So profile. And now if I save settings, and also let's uncheck the copy images from content locally to make things happen a bit faster. And now I set that the plugin should extract content from there. Okay, so it is okay. Now let's delete the old post that was imported and rerun importing. Okay, and now we should also get the profile widget if everything worked correctly. So if we scroll down here, here it is, the profile widget, which actually is the my name and my details. The image was not imported because it is also lazy loaded, so you need to enter the lazy loading tag for it to work. So if we check here on the entry content, we can see that below here, and here it is, the image is lazy loaded and data src is used. So lazy loading image is data src. Okay, so I need to check why exactly the image is not scraped correctly, but as you can see, the other contents are working now. So I will check this and fix it soon. Okay. So this is how you can use the custom shortcode creator from here. So write the shortcode name, class ID regex to add symbols to separate the value and the content of it. You can also write multiple values here by separating this by a comma. Okay. Now let us continue. Product price query type. So if you create WooCommerce products, you can set a query type here. Product price query string, and strip characters from product prices. If the product prices contain some currency characters or something similar, you can strip the characters by using this settings field. Okay, so I just covered all the settings that the Crawlomatic plugin has. Now let's go to crawling helper, tips and tricks, and activity logging. These are three menus that I will cover really fast. So the crawling helper is a useful tool to scrape content and to detect the HTML and classes of content that you scrape if you don't have HTML knowledge. So enter the URL that you wish to scrape, click crawl, and the plugin will load the page here down below. All you have to do now is hover your mouse over the content and highlight the content that you wish to get and click. So now the plugin will tell you that the content is importable using the class and the class of the content that you wish to import. So now all you have to do is make so select the class here. So for example, class, and input a value here that you imported. Okay, now let's go to the tips and tricks menu. Here you will see some example tips and tricks on how to use the plugin in a better way. Activity and logging, system info, you will see some system information about the plugin, rules that are currently running, backup current rules to file, load rules from file, restore plugin default settings, delete all posts generated by the plugin, delete all rules from the web crawl to post section, and activity log. I will be getting back to this activity log soon, because it is very useful when you scrape your content, and it will help you to scrape content more efficiently. Okay, now we can go to the main settings of the plugin, and here I will be covering now all and every settings field that are present here. So the headless browser API key can be entered here. DeepL and Google Translator optional keys will be able to be entered here. If you don't enter these, the plugin will be still able to translate content using the free version of the Google Translate API. Enable post auto deletion feature. If you want to enable the auto deletion feature of the post, you should check this checkbox, because auto deletion will not work otherwise. Do not remove WordPress post content filters when publishing posts. This is useful if you want to leave the post content filters that WordPress has. This is an advanced use case, and don't check this checkbox if you don't know what you are doing. Respect robots HTML header and robots text for crawled pages. If you want to respect the robots text files and not scrape content that is not allowed by the source sites, you can do it by checking this checkbox. Clear CURL decoding value. This is an advanced feature, and you can clear the decoding value for CURL. Do not check for duplicate posts. If you check this checkbox, the plugin will post also duplicate contents. Remove non-printable characters for post. Check duplicate posts by title instead of source URL. Remember imported links that do not crawl them twice. This will make the plugin remember links that it already imported, and if it would crawl them twice, these will be skipped. Link generated post titles to source articles. This is a nice checkbox that if you check, the plugin will link the posts from the main site of your blog. So this post will be linking directly to the source instead of the post that is created on your site. So if you check this checkbox, then the links on your main site, the main page where you list posts, will be linking to the source instead of your site. This can create aggregator websites using this checkbox. Do not check generated post in rule settings. So if you have many posts and don't want to check all in the web crawl to posts to make this page loading faster, then you can check this checkbox. Add canonical meta tag to generated post. You can add automatically a canonical meta tag. Update post if already posted. This will update posts if they are already posted for all rules. Do not update already posted featured images. Show extended item information meta box in post. This will tell the plugin to show in classic editor only. This will not do anything in Gutenberg. An extended meta box for info on generated posts. Enable logging, enable detailed logging. This will tell the plugin to enable logging in the activity and logging menu. So these logs will be enabled by these checkboxes. Automatically clear logs every once in a while. I will be getting back on this logging because I have to tell you some more on these logs. I think better that I create a separate video on the logging part of the Crawlomatic plugin, and I create another video on the scraping part where I show you how to use exactly and how to extract classes from content that you wish to scrape. So 2 more videos are coming, and these should be shorter than this one because this is the longest tutorial video I ever made so far. Automatically clear logs. Search Google Archives when direct page fetching fails. So this will search also Google Archives when the pages are not found that you scrape. Custom post source post method. You can set a custom post source post method value for imported posts. This is an advanced feature. Here you can set proxies, a comma separated list of proxies. Authentications, you can set out user and password for these proxies. Timeout for running. This will tell the plugin that it should run this amount of seconds. Timeout for run request, that it should time out after this amount of seconds for one page request. Delay between multiple requests, how much the plugin should wait before creating a new request on the same page. This will limit the amount of requests that the plugin makes in a given period of time. Delay between rule running. This will make the rule run after only a delay. Send rule running in email to this email address. Send each post in email. Send only a daily summary. Okay, so image options. Copy images from content locally. Do not copy featured image locally, or enable featured image from URL integration. So if you check this checkbox, then the plugin will integrate the featured image from URL plugin, and it will work with it. So these 2 checkboxes do the same thing, but this will use implementation from the Crawlomatic plugin, and this will use the featured image from URL to show remote featured images. I recommend that you use the featured image from URL plugin because it is specialized on this, and instead of do not copy featured images locally, I recommend that you check the featured image from URL checkbox. Verify featured images if not corrupt. Remove featured image from post content. If you have duplicate posts with the featured image on top of the post and the featured image is also contained in the post content, you can remove from the post content. You can resize the featured image. You can resize iframes that the content contains. You can set up royalty-free importing by setting up API keys of these sources, and you can enable the replacement of the images by checking the replace article image with royalty free image. Okay, now let me get back to where I left. So all these will be royalty free image sources. Posting options, you can shorten the imported URLs using Shortcodes API, disable automatic excerpt generation to leave WordPress to create the excerpt for you. Default post author user ID, this is the default post author user ID. Try to fix imported HTML. If each HTML that the plugin imports is broken, you can try to fix this using this checkbox. Use alternate readability. If the plugin is not getting auto-detected content for you correctly, then you can check this checkbox and the plugin will use an alternative version of the readability. Convert Cyrillic characters to Latin characters. Strip links from generated post content, strip links only from imported content. So the difference between these two is that the plugin will strip links only from the imported content and not also from the final content. The final content is after you add your own content, your own links, your own strings and your own text to the content, or even translate or spin it. So this is the difference between the generated for post content and the imported post content. So the imported one is the raw content from the source, and the generated post is the translated additional and content that you have added to it. Strip website internal links only, that if you wish to strip only internal links from the scrape site. Strip JavaScript, strip HTML, page screenshot size, crawled category separator, multiple crawled content separator. This is useful if you scrape categories and multiple contents. You can use this separator to to differentiate them. Add internal attributes to internal links, add attributes to external links. You can set link attributes like external and no follow and similar using these values to internal and external links. Replace all your URLs from content with this URL. Read more button text. Multiply imported item price by, add to imported item price and price separator. This is nice to have if you are scraping WooCommerce products and you are doing dropshipping. You can automatically multiply and increase price by these values. Spin using word synonyms. The content, you can use Best Spinner, Word AI Spin Rewriter, Torque Spin, or these free built-in spinners. And you can add your credentials here after you select a spinner. If you don't have a spinner account, you can click here and get one. Posting restrictions: minimum title word count, maximum title word count, minimum content word count, maximum content word count. Skip posts with these words in their featured image names. Skip posts that do not have images. Skip posts older than a selected date. So this will make the post to be skipped if they don't match these requirements. PhantomJS path on server, you can set the path of PhantomJS where you have installed it on your server. Timeout for headers browser execution. Use PhantomJS to generate screenshots or use Puppeteer to generate screenshots. Skip importing of this metadata for posts. This can free up some database space on your hosting. You can use a random sentence and random sentence to shortcodes. This will here you can define a list of random sentences, each on one line. The sentences can have these variables. You can define values for variables here, so you can define a semicolon separated list of values. So these variables will get a random value each time, and a random sentence will be selected from here and replace this shortcode. You can also use the custom HTML shortcode and custom HTML2 shortcode if you define here values for HTML, and this will be added to your post content. Affiliate keyword replacer, you can set search for a keyword, replace it with another keyword, add a link to it, and also make the plugin search in content, title, or both. You can also use these WordPress shortcodes to list posts that the plugin scrapes. So you can use Crawlomatic list posts, Crawlomatic display posts, and also a live scraper, which is a very nice feature of the plugin. So Crawlomatic scraper shortcode will automatically update the scraped content from posts. So for more info, click here and you will see a detailed documentation on how to use it. So I have here an example shortcode, and let me create a post with this example shortcode. So let me add a new post, and let me create a post with this example shortcode. So this shortcode will scrape content from yahoo.com, but this is very easy to use and configurable. And if we write here test, and let's say I want to scrape content not from Yahoo but from my blog here. So if I enter here my blog, and also don't forget to always use the text editor, the code editor, when using these shortcodes, because if you don't use the code editor, as you see, WordPress adds these HTML values which might break the text. So yeah. Okay, now let's write here HTML and write publish. So this will scrape content from my website, and it will also automatically update the scrape content every once in a while. But you can check here the full documentation of this feature on this link. Okay, so yeah, this is all for today. I hope I managed to cover the full tutorial of this plugin, and as you see, it is very feature filled, and you can scrape any content from the internet using this plugin, and it will make you have any content from out there on your website. Thank you for watching until the end. This is the end. Don't forget to subscribe to get more similar updates, tutorials and videos. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Bye bye.